Hello and welcome to the Clat Possible YouTube channel. Today, let's pick out an extremely trending topic called the Manhattan Project. अब don't worry, मैंने कोई spoilers नहीं देने तुम्हें Oppenheimer के ऊपर. I'm here purely as a teacher for your competitive examinations. Yes? So let's understand what is the Manhattan Project and what were the different nuclear tests that India had done. So let's begin with the very first one. Now, this is very, very interesting. You see, during World War II, there were these three US cities, as you can see on your board. So the names of these three cities were Hanford, Oak Ridge, and Los Alamos. But these three cities were nowhere on their map. In fact, they were referred to as X, Y, and Z. And there were close to 125,000 individuals who were working over there very, very secretively. And even on their identity card, no name would be mentioned. So the point is, why were they being so secretive? What were they trying to do? But before that, you must know that who was the one who thought of this idea of a possible nuclear chain reaction. It was a Hungarian physicist, Leo Zillard, who basically stepped off the sidewalk and then he thought of a possibility of a nuclear chain reaction, right? Now, what had happened was, of course, this is Adolf Hitler, although it has never been really proved, but, it was not confirmed. But it was said that Adolf Hitler, he had control over uranium mines in Czechoslovakia. He had purchased a uranium abroad, and he had one of the best scientists, Dr. K. Clausius, who was working with him. So it was a very, very big possibility that they were likely to develop nuclear weapons. Keeping that in mind, there were these three physicists who went to Albert Einstein. So we've just spoken about Leo Zillard, Eugene Wigner, and another Hungarian physicist. They all went to Albert Einstein and they informed him that his very, very famous formula, E is equal to mc square equation, they said that can be utilized to make nuclear weapons, and possibly the Nazi Germany are trying to do that. In fact, this famous letter was written by Albert Einstein to the then President Roosevelt in 1939, informing him of the same, that, maybe this can be misused by Germany. And which is why the program called the Manhattan Project came into being in the year 1942. So the letter was written in 1939. The project was developed by 1942. And it was called the Manhattan Project. So the next question that comes to mind is, why is it called Manhattan Project? Right? So Colonel James Marshall, he established this project sitting in a building which was in Manhattan. And the Army Corps of Engineers used to work out of that. And so hence it came to be known as the Manhattan Project. Of course, you see, they realized that you cannot do this project in a place which is very highly populated. And so hence Los Alamos was selected for the site of Scientific Research Laboratory, and that was under the direction of Robert Oppenheimer. Now, finally, they did all of their testings in Los Alamos and also Oak Ridge. And finally, on the 16th of July, 1945, they tested something called the Gadget, which was the world's first atomic bomb. And they called this particular test as the Trinity Test. And you can see it on your screen. Of course, it was successful. Not that it was like a very, very good thing, because later on these bombs are going to be used to destroy cities such as Hiroshima and Nagasaki. What is important for you is that they tested the nuclear bomb and they call it the Gadget. The entire project was the Manhattan Project. This particular test was called the Trinity Test. Where did it happen? It happened at the Alambagh bombing range in New Mexico, which was 337 kilometers away from Los Alamos. The Manhattan Project Director General's name is also important for you. This is Leslie Groves. Eventually, the super bomb was designed and conceptualized by a team of scientists, and this team was headed by Oppenheimer, right? And which is why Oppenheimer came to be known as the father of atomic bomb. Now you can see over here what happened with respect to Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and I'm sure that you know about it. So it happened on the 6th of August and the 9th of August in 1945. Hiroshima incident happened on the 6th of August, and the name of the bomb was Little Boy on a plane called Enola Gay. Right, and 3 days later, another bomb was dropped on Nagasaki, which is called Fat Man. So, Little Boy, Fat Man, you need to learn these code names, yes? And of course, it led to a lot of disaster. And you see, it was also spoken about. Why is this topic also important? Not because of the movie, by the way, also because G7 summit took place in Hiroshima. Russia has placed tactical nuclear or is going to place tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus. Germany has just switched off its last 3 nuclear power plants. The largest nuclear power plant in Europe, which is in uranium, there is a controversy happening over there also because of the Kharkovka dam collapse. And finally, China and Pakistan have together inked a deal to also make a nuclear power plant. So all of this put together makes this topic very important for you. Now, of course, I've done this over and over again in your classes, तो मैं इसको इतना लंबा नहीं खींचने वाली, पर nuclear proliferation treaty becomes very important. So the nuclear proliferation treaty, for the ones who don't know about it, बस इतना बताऊंगी, बाकी सब मेरे को पता है तुम लोगों ने कर रखा है, पर ये वाली चीज़ थोड़ी सी important है. So the P5 countries, and you will write down the names of the P5 countries if you know it. If you don't, please figure it out. This is very basic. These are the permanent 5 countries of the United Nations Security Council. इन पांचों ने बोला कि भाई 1 जनवरी 1967 से पहले अगर आपने न्यूक्लियर टेस्टिंग कर रखी है फिर तो ठीक है, जो कि इन्हीं पांचों ने की थी. कहते इसके बाद नहीं करोगे, ये ट्रीटी साइन करो बिकॉज वी आर वेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबल, यू आर कंप्लीटली इररिस्पॉन्सिबल. India refused to do it. Why should India do it? We are sandwiched between 2 countries, and both those countries, our neighboring countries, are trying to eat away at our territories. एक चाइना है, दूसरा पाकिस्तान है, और चाइना के पास तो ऑलरेडी है ही है ये टेक्नोलॉजी, और पाकिस्तान को वो दे देगा, हमें पता था, तो हमें भी करना पड़ा, लेकिन हमें थोड़ा चुप चुप रह के करना पड़ा. So the name of this particular operation was called Smiling Buddha because it happened on Buddha Purnima. The army also named it Operation Happy Krishna, right? So it happened on the 18th of May in 1974 in Pokhran. Of course, the Prime Minister at that time was Indira Gandhi. And the project director was also the chairman of Atomic Energy Commission, and his name was Raja Ramana. And of course, we did it. But the minute we demonstrated our ability, we also had to demonstrate the fact that we are a very responsible country who are not going to indiscriminately use this energy in a bad way, right? We will use it in a good way, and if need be, of course, in a bad way, but we will refrain from doing that. So just to demonstrate the fact that India will use this only in extreme situation, we chose not to immediately weaponize our nuclear device. That kind of a test happened years later in 1998, and this particular operation was called Operation Shakti. So you can see APJ Abdul Kalam, who was the project director at that time, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, of course, who was the prime minister at that time. So this happened from the 11th until the 13th of May. So 11th of May, we tested some, and then some testing was also done on the 13th of May in Pokhran, Rajasthan. And well, that is that from my end with respect to this topic. Thank you very much, and I will see you soon with a new topic.